there, Aries. Welcome to your end of February 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. Oh, look at this. We have two cards that came out as the center of this reading. I'm going to pick those. It's funny, I thought the Five of Wands was a Five of Pentacles. Okay. Okay, I'm going to pick these. It's like, wow. This is interesting. The two cards that cross you are both major arcana. The Devil and the Temperance card. That's Capricorn and Sag. Okay, let's pick a card from the middle here. For our outcome card, another major arcana card. Wow. Amazing. The heart of the matter are two cards, one major, one minor arcana. Sorry for me hitting my tripod with my knees, but it's kind of an awkward angle back here. The Five of Wands and the Judgment card. Okay, interesting. Well, I'm going to you're not going to be able to see everything, but it'll be more stable. The Five of Wands is a card of like competition, and usually I interpret this kind of challenging, but for Aries, you are a person who needs that competition. You're like a very competitive person yourself. And whereas most people would even hear the word competition or being competitive as something negative, it's like your lifeblood. And if you don't have it, is it life's blood? Yeah, probably life's blood. And if you don't have it, if you're in a job where there's no way to kind of show your stuff, when you're just kind of like mailing it in because it's kind of a dead-end situation, you're going to languish. Other people may, it's not saying that anybody would thrive under those conditions, but you in particular can't have that kind of environment, and you actually will rise to the occasion if you are surrounded by people who keep you on your toes because they're so good, because your natural competitive spirit will cause you to bring your A game, and that will just make you better and better, and you know this and you like that. Yes, Aries likes to be number one. And if you're not number one, it can feel kind of uncomfortable, but you can still approach it with the spirit of, achieving your goal eventually. So it can keep your mojo up. The Judgment card is a card of cause and effect. So if, for instance, you have been in a workplace situation where your competitive spirit, you cross the line there and you did something to somebody else that was not necessarily cool, you may have to have maybe you're having like now some sort of blowback from that. And that's because you crossed the line. It doesn't mean that in other circumstances, you being competitive in a non-toxic way would be problematic. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's a very fine line, because sometimes it isn't that easy to kind of know exactly what you're doing. You can feel that sense of, oh my gosh, I am doing something that is very kind of like overly forceful, or I'm not being my best self right now. And then you have to kind of have that happen. in the past position is the Five of Pentacles. This can be a card of unemployment, of money troubles, or of somebody who has poverty consciousness, which means that no matter what they have in the bank, they're going to still feel that sense of fear-based feelings. And so I don't think that a lot of Aries people would kind of be like that, but I do think that that happens just simply because in life there just are those people who are very, they have been always having, money problems from the time they were young. If you're born into a family without much money, then they can't help you. I'm not saying that all affluent families help their children. I went to school with a lot of those people, and um, some of, sometimes people, when they have money, they want to teach their children values of hard work, and so they kind of go overboard in the opposite direction, where they kind of, expect their kids to fend for themselves to some degree. So it doesn't always work that way. So I would say in general, maybe if you feared unemployment, you were overly competitive with coworkers, and now you have to pay the price for that. Maybe you cross the line, or perhaps that other person, you're having some kind of like falling out with that person, and it's very unpleasant in the workplace. The higher message or the bigger picture is the Queen of Pentacles. This may be a situation like, for instance, if you got some kind of instant karma and you were the one that went on the chopping block, you might be like, this, you might have feared that, and you did something that you shouldn't have done because of your fears, and then you actually had that self-fulfilling prophecy. The nine, or the Queen of Pentacles, can be, if you are in between jobs, that rather than seeing this as some kind of a bad thing, is that you really enjoy your time off, even if you're not getting paid for it. This can be, the more that you can enjoy what you're doing, the more you can make space for any brilliant ideas that you might have that can help you to do well financially in the future. And I'm not saying that everybody is dealing with it on those terms. Take my interpretation as a very general thing. But it could be a similar theme, and that's the important thing. The two challenge cards that came out, the Temperance card and the Devil card. The Temperance card is about moderation. Now, in terms of just living life in general, somebody had said to me, as above, so below. So in other words, you are recognizing that, yes, you are a spiritual being having a human experience, but you are also, specifically when you're having a human experience, it means that you are living in this world. So you know, as spiritual as you may be, you also have to be grounded. And that may, Aries people are very idealistic, but they're not necessarily practical. And so by balancing out some of those energies, you can find that sweet spot, because otherwise you might be a little bit lopsided. And that, by the way, this can go both ways. I mean, if somebody is a very earthbound type of person and they're very materialistic, they're going to neglect the spiritual, and that's not okay either, because then you don't have the bigger picture of why you're here, and you're just focusing on your temporary human birth. And that's not really wise. So I'm talking about from both directions. And we also have the Devil card, which really underscores especially the temptation of the flesh, of greed. So that may have been a motivating factor for something that was your downfall. And, we're still having Pluto in the 10th house for Aries people. So Pluto in the 10th house can be a fall from grace. If the person actually the Pluto is connected to the Judgment card, so it might be specifically that transit of Pluto and Capricorn in your 10th house, Aries. And how does that play out in terms of the decisions that you've made during this transit? Have you been tempted to do something that was not on the up and up because you were fear-based about money and you got that instant karma? The Devil card can be somebody who is in bondage over something from the physical due to greed, due to lust. It's connected to Capricorn. Oh, yeah, right. Capricorn. And I wasn't even thinking about that. I swear to God. I wasn't thinking about Capricorn. I was just thinking about what people tend to be attached to. What's coming in is the Queen of Cups, so that's a good spiritual influence. And it's also the card of motherhood. So we have two cards. The Empress can be too. So is somebody pregnant? Are there Aries women pregnant or Aries men who have gotten a woman pregnant and they're worried about money? Or they are worried about maybe that other person or they can't settle down and they feel like they're not in a relationship currently, and but they are going to bring a new life into the world. The Queen of Cups is also about creativity. So the last two cards are strong with creativity. So if you've been having trouble on the job, it could be the universe trying to nudge you into something that is much more personal to you and about creativity. And the outcome, that's why they show that pregnant woman, the Earth Mother, connected to Venus, connected to Taurus and Libra, but this is a card of Venus. It could be love, it can be children, it can be birthing a creative project. It's a good card for money. So just like the Five of Pentacles can indicate lack of money, the three of Empress, the Empress card is connected to abundance, and it's underneath the Queen of Pentacles. So it might even be through your mother's side of the family that you're receiving assistance. But you have to have the strength, Aries, to cut through the illusion in life of anything to do with lack. You can, it doesn't cost anything to create. The only thing that it can be hard to do is if somebody is working all the time and they don't have time to even be creative because they're always on the go. But for instance, if somebody is in between jobs, they have that luxury of being able to really get in tune with their creative self. You never know what you might create. You might create an empire. So dream big and be consistent, and also bring in the spiritual with the Temperance card. Don't just be about making money, but how can I raise the vibration of the planet with whatever it is that I'm doing? I mean, it could be a tote bag that you're selling, and it could still raise the vibration of the planet because of, like, for instance, the symbols you're using on the tote bag or the slogans. So that's what I have for you, Aries. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.